Ousmane Sonko put forth. And today they are where they are. And this is because the young people did not take the back seat. Like my brother and friend there said, Dr. Buzienes, the need for young people to be actively involved.
Thank you so much. You made mention, Macky Sall's attempt on the Constitution. Let's find out from Dr. Busi if that was actually the leeway or the gateway through which the people saw that they were done with his maneuvers and it was time for him to go. An incumbent president constantly postponing elections and at a certain point wanting to touch on the constitutional reforms. So do you think that was the highlight of the moment that actually put the last coffin on his, or the last nail on his coffin?
Thank you. Many people are really observing politics now in Africa, and I want to say that there's a political wind that's blowing now in Africa. We can see Senegal has been a country of military coups. And I want to say that the then president, Macky Sall manipulated with the constitution a lot, and people were not happy. You see that it took about 9 months before elections took place. And I want to say that I'm very, very, very happy what happened in Senegal, because it's a lesson for many Africans. We can change and manipulate the constitution, but when the people rise, change will always occur, because that's the main thing. People want change at the moment. Because Macky Sall wanted to manipulate with the constitution. And then we saw his own candidate from their own party, Amadou Bey, that stood. And you saw that many people have observed Senegal over time and space, and they discovered that they wanted to live in peace. They wanted a better start. The people took their responsibility, because what is killing us?
By the people, the citizens.
Yes, the citizens. They took their responsibility by registering into elections, and they saw a young man, and they believed in the young man, and that is what most Cameroonians are always scared, because Cameroonians feel that the constitution has been changed several times. It can be manipulated, and we will see a constitutional council in Senegal that is open and independent, despite the fact that the members of the constitutional council were appointed by the president of the republic, Macky Sall. But we have seen that in Senegal, you see that this winner, he had members of his party in all the grassroots. If you want to win election, madam, make sure that before they are proclaiming elections you must have the procès verbal. As they are proclaiming elections in all the local grassroots areas, make sure that you are jotting everything down. So it's an agreement which is very complex with our own politics here in Cameroon, because of ego. The issue of ego.
Is it just ego or maybe interest?
Ego takes everything with interest.
Okay.
Because every person feels that I'm the Almighty God. But the people saw this gentleman of 44 years and said, no, we'll rally behind him.
Yeah.
Our mission is to overcome the incumbent. That's their mission. Their mission was not that he will become the president. Yeah. They wanted to take over power and change their economic situation of Senegal, because I want to tell you that Senegal in West Africa is a country that they are suffering a lot. And I thank God that the European Union was there to observe. You see what was read in local televisions, it tallies with what the European Union also had. So I want to say that France 24 and other international TVs houses are already saying that this young man won. There is nothing that will be done to say that he won the election. He won the elections. It was clear. When Macky Sall gave the other man called Amadou Bey to be member of their political party to run, a lot of political reforms. If you want to win election, you must have reforms, madam. What are you telling the people? What are your manifesto? He came out, he looked at the situation of that country. He told them that no, we have been suffering, there's poverty, there's hardship, there's this. Since Macky Sall was in power, since 2012 till now, they have been suffering a lot of political upheavals. So this guy came with a lot of manifesto, because what is killing politicians here in Cameroon is that if you ask SDF that what is your political manifesto, they will not tell you. MRC, what is your political manifesto.
No, but during elections,
No, madam,
hear them echoing them.
you don't wait. You don't wait.
Change,
No,
especially
no,
change
wait.
from
You don't wait. You don't wait. If you want
CBT has
to
been
start
there for
working,
CBT has been there for 42 years, and we have not had
if you want
even
change,
one.
if you want change, you have to be working because just CPDM celebrated the anniversary.
39 years
anniversary
of existence and the same time campaign.
How do you overcome the CPDM without the common man knowing your raison d'être?
The first is that let the
This is a young man. I believe in young people. I mean CPDM.
No, but do you take ownership of what you just said?
I take ownership.
By saying that most of these political parties do not have.
I take it. I will tell them. I've been telling them on this platform that there's ego. Professor Kamto has ego. O.C. Joshua has ego. The young man of the young man of his party. Yes, he has ego. All of them have ego because they are talking of coalition. And then now, Maurice Kamto wants to be head of coalition in Cameroon. O.C. Joshua wants to be head. He doesn't want to join you.
But nobody has come to vet
you are not coming out for them to know. But let me tell you what happened in Senegal. Even the ruling party, they had coalition. They had alliances. Before elections, they came out. They formed their alliances. We saw it. If I tell you that these oppositions in Cameroon, I don't know of any alliance in Maro. We are just playing game, a ping pong game. And I want to say that before election, 2025 is not far. It's not far.
It's just next year.
Next year. You are talking about coalition. You don't wait at the end towards election before you start forming coalition because you need to change my mind as I have to vote. If you come today, you say no, MRC, SDF and others, they have formed a coalition. It's genuine. You will change the mindset of many people. So what I'm happy is that there is a wind of change blowing in ECOWAS because I'm talking about democracy. Because this guy won election, it's democracy. And democracy is through elections. We have seen they have been manipulating on the constitution. They keep postponing the elections. And we have seen democracy where more than 17 opposition parties came together. And a young man of 44 is, I want to say that is youthfulness. To me as a psychologist, 44 as a young man would be the number one statesman of a country, number one person of a country. In West Africa that we have been seeing chaos, in Mali, we have been seeing chaos in many African countries. Many coup d'etats, and then we have seen a young man coming up with reforms. Because you cannot be a presidential candidate, you don't have reforms. If I ask you what is your political roadmap, you don't tell me. I've seen people that I ask them, you are forcing me. I'm telling you, many people have contacted me to join the MRC. I said no. So you are able to convince me.
Well,
you are able to convince me about your manifesto clearly. Not that till you take power before you start telling me what you want to do for Cameroonians. MRC wants to take power. But Cameroonians want federation. Listen, madam, MRC because they want
because they know the truth.
Listen.
CBT they know the truth, but they know that they have been there for over 40 years.
No, I know, sir. Madam, the moderator will give you the microphone. Let me tell you, we have about 4 opposition parties that are working on the ground now. One.
No, but Dr. Bruce, why do you
MRC, PAP, and this guy, the honorable.
Cabral.
Those are the men, and then I can say that those are the men
opposition
parties now working. And I tell you that if
Dr. Busi,
yes,
why is MRC the lab rat here?
Because MRC they have the followers, they have the partisan followers, whether I like it or not, they have. See, SDF has too, and if they come out, madam, look at what this young man did. This young man came up with a lot of reforms, and he came out clearly with his reforms, and we saw the reforms were meeting up with the realities of the country. Because if you put a referendum now on issue of federation, most Cameroonians will choose federation. But has MRC ever come out clearly that they want a federation? No.
Fine.
SDF has tried, but I want to say that please, we're educating the masses. and we are saying that gerontocracy is not more working in Africa, governance of the age. I like to see young people coming into politics. So we should be educating the masses, to our young people, that it's time for you to register. 7.3 people register in Senegal, and their story changed, and they are seeing a young man coming to rule their country with new ideas and new reforms. That is what we need in Africa.
Fine. While you're catching your breath, Dr. Busi has actually brought a lot on the table, lots of cards, including Mr. Angie Lucas, who actually, shook the tables for a bit. And without speaking any offense, as a leader of the party, there's so much talked about democracy and coalition, beginning from the coalition phase. Do you think this is what Cameroon need to actually plunge themselves forward?
First of all, I'm going to first start by blasting the political party that is ruling in Cameroon.
Okay.
CPJ has been there for over 42 years. They are great ancestors. Just of recent, they just re-elected Kabayege Jibril and Nya Defendi for over how many years they have been there. And there's no young people, that there's no youth that can contest against them. Look like Kabayege Jibril in the National Assembly have 140 how many votes? Only him alone. Out of 180 parliamentarians. And you come and say that we're in a democratic
republic. Now, don't you think this is emotional?
Then you see, come down in the upper house of assembly. You tell me that out of 95 votes, somebody is having 91 votes. His name is Nya Defendi. And you tell me that young Cameroonians want to change? You want to change? No, the ruling party has been there for over 42 years.
So what's the point of that?
Now, what we need, especially to educate the youth, as Senegal has started by removing those old rooms in a election for their civil right, and you see a change, because over 42 years the youth of Cameroon has been marginalized for over 42 years.
Now, you cited alongside.
My learned colleague is saying something that baffles me, because we are talking about something here that's very, very serious. I want to ask you, does Senegal has a constitutional council that proclaims election? This election will be proclaimed. An opposition has won election, a young man of 44 years old. An opposition, constitutional council. So are you saying that if Cameroonians come out to vote massively and protect their elections, things will go right?
Who are the constitutional council of Cameroon? Is it not CPJ?
Who are members of the constitutional council?
Is it CPJ? Who CPJ?
Listen, please. The members of the Constitutional Council of Senegal were appointed by the then president, Macky Sall. What are you saying? And but the opposition has won election, and the election will be declared.
So don't you think that is a manuscript?
I want to say that our oppositions are failures. Our oppositions are failures.
Dr. Busi, you've asked a question.
Because you don't want to accept reforms.
Dr. Busi, I'm the moderator. I was supposed to have shown the question to him, but since you asked, let him respond.
I'll answer him by saying that the Constitutional Council of Cameroon is afraid of the president, because they know that whatever they do, they'll be sacked. That's number one.
Look at what is happening in Senegal.
Look at Senegal, because no matter what, if I am appointing you as my brother, if you know that this is not right, tell me that it's not right, and things will be changed.
So why did they not favor the then president?
They cannot favor him because whatever he has in his own idea, it is not a good one. It is just to destroy Senegal. And now the Constitutional Council there,
hardly would you see democracy without liberty. In Senegal, particularly, we have a people who decided to enjoy their political rights. I want to say this to Obasi. It's Obasi, right?
Yeah.
I see nothing wrong with President Paul Biya Bivondo Bartholomew to be the president of the Republic of Cameroon. I see nothing wrong. What I want Cameroonians to understand is this. President Paul Biya of the Republic of Cameroon enjoys his political rights, and those who want him to be also have decided that he should be their candidate. Away from that.
For 7 terms.
Away from that.
But the Constitutional Council tells us after 2 times.
Yes,
but over 7 times you are being manipulating the constitutional, the constitution.
Yes, away from that. Now, when you look at what is happening in Senegal, Senegal has traits of democracy. The country is relatively very democratic. You have a people who have vehemently turned down any call against democracy. An element of democracy includes the freedom to protest, the freedom to revindicate, the right to revindicate when a situation that does not have to be in place is called up to be, such as what they experience when Macky Sall. For those who do not know, when Macky Sall came up in 2012 and took over Abdoulaye Wade, please, he did outstandingly very well because Senegalese wanted someone relatively younger. He too was a young man.
Obviously.
Young man, 12 years ago or thereabout, it will tell you where this being enjoyed by the people is being fostered by the youth participation, which is what Dr. Bose talks about, which is what Obasi likewise. Howbeit, I think when you look at it very well, if you were to make a comparative studies with regards to the case of Cameroon, the youths in Cameroon are burning their midnight candle on criticizing and increasing their voter apathy. You have the voter apathy, you have the political apathy. They do not have that desire. They are dropping it every single day as concerning issues of election. Take their civic responsibility and enjoy this right. When you look at Bassirou, the president-elect, and what is worth mentioning is that the main person who was contesting with Bassirou, that is the prime minister, has considered defeat. He has left in Senegal. Did not start politicking today. For those who do not know Dr. Buse, I'm not actually blowing his whistle here. The gentleman is for more than 20 years.
As a young man.
As a young man for more than 20 years. So I may not be surprised if I see him bigger than where he is right now as concerning issues of politics. So it is involvement. It is a deliberate act. And this is where the young man in Senegal took the bull by the horn and said, okay, this is it. I'm going to meet my big brother, Ousmane Sonko, and he's going to lead me. And I'll accept his leadership. And I'm going to be a steward to him.
Mentorship.
And I'm going to accept mentorship. And he's going to mentor me. And I'm going to love politics. And my love for politics will be demonstrated by my elections and my votings.
So are you saying?
And he has been voting. You get it? So, but the problem in Cameroon, which you find so many youth, because when we say these things, some youth will see us as if we are blowing hot air, some think we are speaking grammar. The problem in Cameroon is you are likely to meet 10 young people and about 5 or 6 will tell you that they are not interested, and the rest will tell you that. And until when we kill that apathy, that political apathy, that apathy to vote, we need to develop rather the love, the care, the concern to actively take part. It is going to go a long way in solving some of the political wahalas. But when the young people are not interested, Mabel, what do you expect from the people? The oaths, the gerontocracy which my brother always talks about, it will eventually take dominance because we are taking the back seat.
Talking about dominance, let us infiltrate some more on why democracy in Africa is always a myth. Case study Cameroon, as a lot of people would have it to be. What do you think? Even a dying point. But what, in our context, how is it going to differ? Where in Senegal the people's voice would stand and say enough is enough.
Analyze it as the youth voice, the youth population voice. Now, when you read, from 82 to today, one man is standing for election for 40-something years before entering election. But now he's over 90-something years, and he has been into election for 7 good times. And you say, and he has been, and him and his government have been marginalizing the youth, stealing the vote of the youth. And what do you want the youth now of ideas should do? Majority of them are out.
If it were Senegal, would the Senegalese?
Obviously, because the constitution favor the youth. The constitution of Senegal favor the youth. That is why you see Macky Sall wanted to go in for a 3rd time. The youth population had to protest.
Yeah, but I think the constitution was not peculiar to the youth.
Yeah.
Let's see the constitution to be for everybody.
The same thing because
so the youth in the country have simply decided.
For somebody for more than over 40 how many years has been changing the constitution for his personal favor and his family people. And you tell me that we are.
I don't know how feasible what you're trying to say.
Madam, I think that politics is strategy.
That strategy is a strategy.
No, listen. I think that we should be genuine in talking politics and the realities of politics. Because if you keep on complaining on suffered a lot from uprising, a lot, and a young man under the mentorship of Soko has taken power, and then you should be telling Cameroonians what to do as an opposition leader, how they can take power. That's a young gentleman. You as a politician, what is your political roadmap? Stop telling Cameroonians that His Excellency Mr. Biya has been in power for more than 30 years, 40 years. How can you overcome the ruling government? What are your strategies? What have you put in place for 2025 that will convince Busi to come and cast his vote in your political party? In your favor. So when we sit and we are crying spilled milk, it can never solve the problem of Cameroon. What you're saying, I've said here with Mr. Nji Lucas several times. The people,
since you have the microphone,
yes.
Do you think that the citizens, just like the case of Senegal, I feel like the members on the panel
yes.
are dodging the question. I don't know if it
Madam,
do you think they can change the status quo, like the case of Senegal?
Okay,
regardless of the constitutional reform.
Because I know my friends. Listen, they have asked me. They have posed me the question. I think that several times, what police brutality, gendarme brutality. We have seen that in 2018 during when MRC came out, people were arrested. In modern democracy, that is not done. But in even modern democracy,
it happens in Capitol Hill
in the US. It happens in the United States. And even the United States, we are talking, madam. Their elections, they do most of their things. It goes. Our election now is biometric. Things are changing. But I want to say that the strategy here is that if they vote massively, they would always have the procès verbal. Make sure that oppositions. Please listen. Oppositions should ensure that at each polling station they should have their representatives. This is what this young man they have done. You don't think that you just come and win in the city?
But now the question is how possible.
It is feasible.
It's feasible, but how is that going to happen?
No, let me
political parties, Mr. Nji Lucas.
You are still taking. I'm not even landed.
Okay,
because, madam, what we are saying here is feasible. It's very, very possible. This man did not just. He never fell from heaven and